So why is gold valued in the best form of money? How's it going, everybody? Stormy at Empire Precious Metals. I hope you're doing well. If you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a guy talking about precious metals and collectibles. So make sure you hit that subscribe button right there. Get the bell notification clicked. And that way you get updated with any new content. And don't forget to blast that like button. There's a reason why I buy gold as often as I possibly can. Aside from it being as beautiful as it is and as valuable as it is, there are a lot of benefits as to why one should own gold. Now, I've talked about this many times on the channel as to why gold is my preferred precious metal to stack. I do stack silver. I do love silver, and I stack gold as well. And over the years, my preference has changed from stacking primarily silver to stacking gold primarily. Gold has been a form of money since ancient Egypt. We have ancient Romans who valued this precious metal. The Chinese in ancient China, up to today, they still value this as a big part of their culture. India, explorers such as Christopher Columbus on the search for God, glory, and gold. You have the California gold rush of 1849 here in the United States. And today you've got the stackers who are really big on gold, right? And silver. But gold is tremendous way that one person can hedge against inflation. There's no question that we are seeing hyperinflation with everything in the economy today. The dollar continues to get printed to oblivion. We've had as much as 25% of the total dollar's existence just printed in this last year alone. It's astronomical to think about it when you start putting these numbers together. But so gold is a beautiful way that you can actually store your wealth and a good hedge against inflation. The other thing, too, is I recently had a scare with a cryptocurrency transaction that I'm going to get into towards the end of this video, but I think it's really important, especially if you are somebody who is constantly buying and selling and debating whether or not you should own cryptocurrencies. You're going to want to definitely stick around for that horror story. But I do want to talk a little bit more about gold and its value and how this is coveted as a form of money across the globe. And I did invite a special guest on, which I'm going to get to right now. And today I'm very happy to have Nikolas Matysek, CEO of Snowline Gold Corp. How you doing, Nikolas?
Great, and yourself?
I'm doing well. It's 9:15 here on the East Coast and 6:15 over there where you are. I'm surprised you're up this early, but I appreciate you getting up for this.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Nikolas, we're going to dive right in. We've got a series of topics that I want to talk about. In particular, we're going to start off with inflation. Inflation seems to be the hottest topic in finance right now. Lumber, iron ore, steel, copper, oil, wheat. You choose any of the major agricultural commodities or base metals, and they're rallying to 52-week highs, and in some cases, all-time highs, with some inflation measures at 40-year highs. The Federal Reserve and government, meantime, seem to be justifying this whole thing with supply chain constraints, but their voice is saying that we're entering hyperinflation. What do you think about the developments of inflation?
I think we're definitely entering an inflationary environment. Pumping $6 trillion of stimulus into the U.S. economy is going to have far-ranging effects.
Absolutely.
What we're seeing now is likely more than transitory, and probably the first wave of higher prices throughout the economy for a sustained period of time. And there's some other structural issues caught up in this inflation.
Yeah.
There's been recent hiring numbers from the U.S. government, and they're underwhelming. It could be that there's more people willing to take easy money from the government instead of getting back into the labor force.
Yep.
So there's a lot of concerning trends going on here.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about hyperinflation, I lived in Zimbabwe in Africa for a year, and I've seen how hyperinflation can destroy a country. Entrenched asset holders can survive, but other people need to consider assets like gold to preserve their wealth in a very dynamic environment like we're entering.
Yeah. And I mean, as you can see with my screen here. This is all I was able to fit on here, but I'm a believer in gold. I'll try to buy it whenever I can. And going back to your story with Zimbabwe, you had a really cool prop that you wanted to show, and I was saying, my goodness, you are wealthy man, $100 trillion.
If only.
Yeah, seriously. Well, there were some people too. I mean, a lot of people know about the Zimbabwe. What is it? What's the what were those dollars, pounds? What's the actual unit?
It was Zim dollars once they broke away from Britain.
Okay.
But now they just use the US dollar because, believe it or not, 100 trillion Zim dollars doesn't really go very far.
Yeah. Like, I think people were saying like it would get you like one potato or something. Like it was just...
Be half a potato.
Half a potato. Half a potato. Oh, man. Yeah. And like, the stacking community, I mean, we really do see value in silver and gold. And lately I've been really kind of moving more into gold personally. The price of gold and silver, they've risen in the past 20 years, even more than equities and real estate. Over the long term, gold's been a reliable safe haven. And in 2020, 47% of the buying came from investors. So can I ask you something? What's your opinion as to why people keep seeing this metal as value as money?
You had a great point. It is a safe haven in an increasingly unpredictable world. People love having something tangible they can hold. It's hard to take away. I think we're all feeling pretty rich looking at our trading accounts when the markets keep rising.
Yep.
Come what may. But I think there might be a certain loss of touch with what money and wealth actually are.
Yeah.
Wealth gives you options. When all your money is tied up in stocks, you have fewer choices should something unforeseen happen.
Right.
Physical gold is really special because it's something that can't easily be taken away.
Right. And that's, something that the stacking community really, really believes in, is the whole fact that what you're saying, it's hard to take away. It's tangible. If you have all of your money locked up in stocks or cryptos and what have you, it's, if there is an unforeseen event, you could be in some big trouble. And going back to also the Zimbabwe or the Zim dollar, de-dollarization, it's definitely accelerating right now. I mean, we're seeing global reserves of the dollar actually dwindling. There was a primetime interview with Stanley Druckenmiller, which was broadcasted recently. He was speaking about the end of the dollar era, which is, crazy to kind of fathom. What is the implication of seeing, higher rates for Washington?
I think higher rates should be at the front of every investor's mind. Some of the lofty valuations that tech companies enjoy are based on rates staying low almost indefinitely. The value of those future earnings is not going to look so good in a higher rate environment. And once those rates start going up, people are going to have a lot less money than they thought they did.
Yeah.
There are a lot of big changes coming in the U.S. and in Canada. Like tax increases, especially capital gains, that didn't seem like a big deal when everyone was making money.
Right.
But when the music stops,
yes.
These increases, they're going to be far less palatable.
Yep.
People are going to be upset.
Yep. And, I just... with the whole capital gains tax increases and everything, I do see people commenting on a lot of my videos saying that they are kind of exiting a lot of their positions in the stock market and what have you. And they're actually buying more metals because they just like to have it. They do like the fact that this is something that you can buy and sell without necessarily, the government always know. Exactly. So let me talk to you a little bit about Snowline now, because that's why we're really here. Just a quick background about you. You come from a very accomplished family in the mining sector, right? Your dad, Paul Matysek, he's been successful at founding junior mining companies, building, selling companies for hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. Then you've got Eric Sprott, who perhaps is the best ever investor in the resource sector. You got Keith Neumeyer. He founded First Majestic, which is the world's purest silver miner, if anybody hasn't heard of that company, which is like actually
if you live under a rock or something.
Yeah, exactly. If you lived under a rock. And it's a $4 billion company listed on the NYSE. And all of these gentlemen, they're all investors in your brand new company, Snowline Gold. So let me ask you something. What attracted all of these individuals? Director Quentin Henney, who I just spoke to last week. You got Palisades Gold Merchant Bank. Now, it's a very impressive lineup of shareholders. So what's going on?
We have a great set of projects in the Yukon. They've been privately staked by a father-son team, Ron and Scott Birdall. It's the first time they're in a public company. They'd seen a little bit of exploration in the past. They got some great preliminary results, but we're all cashed up and ready to explore this summer. We have the cornerstone position in the Selwyn Basin, something we have a very impressive land holding throughout. I think everybody believes in the potential of these projects, and they're speaking with their money of investing in Snowline Gold.
And I was going to say, it's very exciting. When I was looking into the company and investors and your About Us section, and I saw those names, I was like, oh, okay, there's something going on there. Maybe I should throw some dollars at this company. Now, the story of how Snowline Gold acquired their projects is amazing. Can you explain what is staking, and who are the father and son, more specifically, who have basically devoted their lives to prospecting in the Yukon?
Yeah, in a lot of jurisdictions, like you have like a map, and you want to explore some part of it, and you stake it so that you have those mineral rights. In a lot of jurisdictions, like you just do it on a computer, and you have this little polygon, and you stake that. But the Yukon's a little different. You got to do it in person.
So you're actually going out there trekking on foot.
Yeah, or helicopters in the modern era. Pretty rock and roll.
Yeah.
But you got to go there. You got to put your claim posts in the corner of the claims. You got to get there. You got to blaze the trees. It's really on the ground. It's a really unique place to be. And the fact that we have so much local experience in Ron and Scott Birdall. Ron, Scott's father, won Prospector of the Year in 1997.
Oh, wow.
Many of his projects that he's personally staked or led the staking of have become operating mines or resource level stage projects. And Scott was there from the beginning. He's been intimately involved in our projects, Rogue and Einerson, and we're really excited to have that knowledge as we move forward.
I was going to say, so you really do have the expertise on your side, which, is very exciting. You have them and then all these big time investors. Seems like a sure thing. Now, Snowline's catalysts for growth, they're just beginning, as I understand it. The company, like you were just saying, is fully funded to begin drilling. Why is that so significant?
It's rare to have like a almost greenfield exploration company show up with money to do this aggressive program. Lots of first pass drilling on multiple targets across our projects. We benefit some previous work done, but to be able to start proving out these resources so early, Snowline was founded, started trading March 1st of this year, and to come and be ready to start making some big noise in the Yukon, it's a really neat position for us.
I was going to say, just started trading, you said, towards the beginning of this year. Really, people could get in at the ground level right now. Tremendous opportunity.
This is before it takes off.
Yeah, tremendous opportunity. And
you have this advisor group. We have the technical skill to be able to develop these projects, and great advice to be able to create real value for our shareholders through Keith Newmeyer and Paul Matysek, who've done this before.
So let me ask you too, before we wrap up, what else is essential information about this company that people should take away?
It's a simple story. We can't make it more complicated than it is. We've got some great projects. We have a great team that can explore and can create value for our shareholders. We have a steady news flow. We're setting our camp up in about 2 weeks. Start drilling short after that. And it's going to be an exciting time as we hopefully make some big discoveries this summer.
Well, I'm really excited. I definitely am going to be checking out, investing in your company, because being cash heavy, having the experts, having these big names investing in the company, obviously, you want to kind of go where the money is going. And I really do recommend that all of my viewers watching this video check out Snowline Gold Corp. I'm going to include the information down below in the description. And Nikolas Matysek, CEO of Snowline Gold Corp, I really do appreciate you taking the time to speak with us all today. I'm looking forward to speaking with you in the near future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a real pleasure.
So as you can see, somebody much more knowledgeable in this space of gold was able to discuss the reasons why gold is such a tremendous store of value, and it is still coveted as a main form of wealth preservation to this day. Now, to talk about the horror story that I had regarding cryptocurrencies, there was a time, and I'm still kind of on the fence with this, but there was a time that I was buying cryptocurrencies and holding on to it, as a lot of people say, hodling. And so what happened was this. I purchased some Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I purchased very early on. I bought some Bitcoin when it was right around $19,000. And it came time for me to decide whether or not I wanted to take some profits. And so Bitcoin had reached around $55,000. And I said, okay, now would be a good time for me to take some of these profits. I was storing all of my cryptocurrency in a cold wallet. For those of you that don't know what a cold wallet is, what happens is you have your exchange, Coinbase is what I use. You buy your cryptocurrencies on and you sell it on this exchange. So in this case, it's Coinbase. Other people, they might have Robinhood or what have you. But then from the platform in which you are buying and selling and trading your cryptocurrencies, you can move it over to a cold wallet. And a cold wallet is something that is used to store your cryptocurrencies in a secure fashion. What ended up happening was there was an issue with Bitcoin. The price started to drop and I wanted to exit. So I made the transaction to move everything over from my cold wallet over to my platform of Coinbase so I could then sell. What happened was the Ethereum cleared within 20 minutes. But as soon as I initiated the transaction for the Bitcoin to move from the cold wallet over to my Coinbase account, it just disappeared, just gone. Like I initiated it and then it was just out in the ether. And now I know that this one particular company that has this cold wallet, it was Nexo wallet. I believe they have a human that looks at every transaction and authorizes the okay. Time goes by, an hour and 2 hours, 3 hours. I still haven't seen the Bitcoin sitting in my Coinbase, and I'm watching the price of Bitcoin plummeting. And so I'm getting nervous, and I'm like, where the heck is my money? I want to be able to sell. It felt very much like what you see with what you saw with GameStop, where people are looking to sell their GameStop and Robinhood prevented them from doing their sales. So then what ended up happening was by the time it got to be 6 p.m. that evening, 12 hours had gone by. Finally, the money, the cryptocurrency had landed in my Coinbase account. And luckily for me, Bitcoin started to come back up during that time. Usually when something like that happens, it always works against me. During that time, it actually went back up. I ended up holding on to it for a little bit longer, and then I did end up selling it, and I actually doubled my money. But what I took away from this was that my money was tied up, and I couldn't access it, even if I wanted it. There was no way for me to access it. There was no phone number for me to call. I was really, really nervous about this. And so that led me back to the thought of gold and how this is such a sound and secure way to store your wealth and to have it and hold it and to be tangible and to be able to just take this and go and sell it to somebody to get money real quick if you wanted it or needed it. It's just, to me, it's one of the best ways that one can save money. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you stack silver? Do you stack gold? Why do you stack either of the metals? And let me know your thoughts on your cryptocurrency transactions if you've ever had any sort of horror stories. And I would like to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't already become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, this is Empire Precious Metals. Until next time, long live the Empire.